Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you with another random replay commentary. And this should be exciting. We actually have a replay between Bisu and Jaedong. This is like a Star League Finals type of match here between these two guys. We got Jaedong down to the bottom left, and we got Bisu up here in the top right on Circuit Breaker. And this is going to be exciting. I'm stoked about this. I've been doing the group stages of the OSL, the 2004 OSL, but I thought I'd break it up a little bit in between groups by doing a little replay commentary as well. And let me know if you guys, I'm open to feedback, by the way. I've honestly never really cared too much about like view counts or anything like that, but I've noticed that people are not watching the group stages as much as the other stuff that I usually do. And so if you guys aren't interested in the group stages, I'm happy to do other stuff, but at the very least I'm probably going to finish off these group stages since I'm halfway through them. But let me know what you guys think. But anyways, like I said, I thought I'd at least break it up a little bit and put a little bit of variety into it and do this little PVZ of epic proportions between Jaedong and Bisu to kind of cleanse the palette. Cleanse the palette with some pixels. Look at these pixels. Oh yeah, look at those pixels. Yeah. Actually, this is not like the nicest thing to look at. The overlords are kind of nasty looking, but I've never really looked closely at one before. They're pretty interesting. In any case, we got Bisu going for his signature Forge Fast expansion, which has become typical, common, in fact expected, in fact perhaps required against Zerg players these days. And he's going for a scout as well. This is a 4-player map, so you can see he's actually double scouted. And he's found the hatchery here, so he's retreating with this scout here. And immediately, well, are we going to see this overlord change directions actually? He saw the probe come in, but I don't know if this overlord saw the other probe, which would kind of tell him where Bisu was, theoretically. But in any case, oh, we're going to see a pylon go down here. And this is kind of interesting. Now, can we... I think we can turn off Jaedong's vision. No, we don't want to turn on Jaedong's vision only. Oops. Okay, never mind. I was going to try and see if he saw that pylon, but of course he does see it now because we can hear sounds going on here. So we're seeing a little bit of a cannon rush, which is kind of crazy, actually. Seeing a cannon rush here from Bisu. I'm curious to see how Jaedong actually deals with this. Sorry, I'm bad with these hotkeys on these... interface devices here. He's actually surrounded one cannon with a pylon, with 2 pylons rather, and then put a cannon on the other side as well. The probe goes down, so that is all of the cannons we're going to be seeing today, and he probably is going to be able to polish off this cannon actually before it warps in. But before this one warps in is a different story altogether, and it looks like he's going to get this sunken colony, creep colony down. Oh, and that drone does die. So it looks like this cannon is within range of the hatchery, but not the creep colony, is what it's probably going to happen here. So Jaedong's starting to put out some Zerglings, and he is actually just going to... Is he going to just ignore this and then go in? No, he's actually... It is within range of the sunken colony, so he's actually going to go in with these Zerglings to target the cannon, and they actually can creep around the back. Beautifully defended by Jaedong. Wow. I did not expect that to be repelled so relatively easily, actually. He's like, you know what? I don't care. I'll just send a few drones in. We'll kill one cannon. Send in some Zerglings. We'll kill the other. Just a quick sunken colony. Easy peasy. Protoss squeezy. In the meantime, we do have Bisu getting his expansion going as well. And Jaedong actually getting this third base up here. I like this, even though this base is much closer as a third base. If you take this one, then that basically later on you can kind of wall off this choke point here, and it ends up giving you the main base of this spawn point as well as an expansion, so you have an easy fourth. This also is on the low ground, so it's a little bit more difficult to defend, so that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, that's really interesting. Where did those Zerglings go? They did get in the main, actually. I'm sorry, I completely missed that. I was looking over here, and they ran past the cannon before it warped, or maybe while it was in, and we're able to get by, and he's going to be able to get his scouting. I don't think he's done too much damage, though. Got 1 kill on one Zergling, and 1 kill on the other Zergling as well. So he's actually killed a few probes so far, so not too bad at all. Getting a few kills with these Zerglings as he's run by and everything. So, and he's going to crucially get a decent scout in. Now, of course, Bisu could theoretically make some of his tech buildings over here or something like that, but then he's letting an Overlord scout it as well. This Overlord is just chilling right out in the middle, Needs to be a little bit careful of that because we do have the cybernetics core finishing warping in now, so he's going to be able to theoretically make Dragoons. I don't think you ever see Protoss make Dragoons in this kind of a situation. More likely to go to that Stargate, and there's just still a pylon chilling over here. He's just ignoring it, letting the shields regenerate. And it looks like these probes have had to chase these Zerglings off as well. So there's the Stargate that we were expecting, and he's actually still got these Zerglings running around, able to scout the Stargate clearly, and basically know exactly what Bisu's doing. But right now, it's not too big of a deal because both players, and he finally does kill off that pylon, kind of supply blocking Bisu for a moment here. And actually, has he got another pylon warping in? He doesn't even have another pylon warping in at the moment. So he's going to be supply blocked for a minute. And I apologize, my mouse, for some reason, is being kind of wonky right now. It was functioning perfectly fine earlier today, and right now it's being a little bit weird. So if you see me clicking some weird places and not moving in a good fashion, that might be why. Anyway, we got the Spire warping in, or not warping in, morphing in, building. I guess it's morphing, right? The building's morphed because it's actually a drone that's turning into a building, right? Man, I wish I could turn into a building sometimes. Anyway, we got, actually got it, sorry. I can't, there we go. Got to turn that off so we can get a view of the Zergling up at the top of the map there. And actually, is he going to let that Zergling die? It's got 2 hit points on it. Run! Run, Zergling! You need to keep scouting! And the Citadel of Dune warping it as well. So he's going to continue to get that scout. Now, let's go ahead and turn this back on. Where is that other tab? There we go, production tab. So Spire's nearly complete as well. We've got more gateways warping in along with that Citadel. So and he's getting +1 weapons as well on the Zealots. So we saw Jaedong go for the Spire, and it's almost complete. I don't see a Hydralisk Den anywhere yet. And you know what's tripping me up on these is the hotkeys are different than they are. I actually have the StarCraft 2 hotkeys for observation kind of stuck in my fingers, and so I hit the wrong buttons because it's the wrong hotkeys. Anyway, the Spire's complete, and he's going to be building some, let's see if I can get this right this time. He's going to be building some Scourge. Yeah, Scourge are on the way. In fact, these might be Scourge right here. Are they Scourge? Yeah, there's 2 Scourge going to pop out right in time to kill this Corsair just after it kills this Overlord, is what it looks like. 17, 8, 3... boom, dead, and it's going to escape with that Corsair as well. So this is what we're talking about. He's going to start building a wall up over here, and normally, well, not normally, but oftentimes I should say, and this replay might be a little old, so maybe that might be why, because I feel like it's common these days in 2020 that Scourge is giving chase. Is it going to catch up to the Corsair in time? Looks like probably not. Yeah, it's going to have to turn back. Anyway, more often see the 5-hatch Hydralisk build, and so it's interesting that he went for the Scourge first. It's not bad or uncommon, it's just I feel less common these days. And oftentimes you see Hydralisk camping outside the front door, actually not off 5 hatcheries initially, but off of the first few hatcheries, trying to assault and killing off the forge and that kind of thing. We do have some Zealots coming in here too. Jaedong's natural. He's got a Sunken Colony that's going to finish just in the nick of time. It's got Zerglings to support as well. The Zealots try to do a run by. If they'd gotten to squeeze into that little spot right here and do a surround on that Sunken Colony, excuse me, then they would have been able to kill it off pretty quickly, actually, and then that would have been really, really bad for Jaedong. So he got those Zerglings in to block that gap at just the right moment. And let's see, we actually have a lot of hatcheries down now. We have 6 hatcheries now because Jaedong actually has the top left as well. And hold that thought, we've got the Zealots coming in. They're going to try and brute force this. Zerglings are going in to do the extra damage. That one Sunken Colony is going to have a sore back after this. It's carrying this fight, soaking up a lot of damage and doing a lot of damage as well. Subterranean Tentacles doing 40 a shot. Really, really hurting those Zealots. And the drones even coming off the line just to make sure the Zealots couldn't get a good surround. And where are they going to go? They're like, well, we can't break that door. Let's go around and break the other door. And it looks like it's got the same situation over here. Sunken Colony and some Zerglings in order to prevent the Sun Colony from being surrounded. He does have a little bit of a gap up here. He could try for it. And he's just kind of attack moving here, hoping to just kill Zerglings, kill some drones, whatever happens to be in the way. He says, I'll take it. I'm not even going to go for the Sun Colony. Just going to kill off what I can. And he is killing quite a bit of units here. Getting a drone as well. Is he going to be able to get up that ramp? No, he actually blocks the ramp with the drones. Is he going to be able to stop him from getting up the ramp? It looks like he will. He's losing a number of drones, but he's actually drone drilling the Zealots a little bit in order to confuse them, and 2 Zealots get up the ramp. But I think they're going to get cleaned up by these reinforcement Zerglings, so not a huge deal. But losing several drones, losing a lot of Zerglings as well to this Zealot attack. And in the meantime, Bisu has built up quite a force of... Whoa, sorry about that. See, that's my mouse being a little bit wonky. Quite a force of Corsairs, and I believe they do have... no, they do not have upgrades, actually. Is he researching the upgrades as well? Looks like no upgrades. Oh, yes, the upgrades for the Corsairs are en route. So he's going to have a lot of Corsairs, and he's even continued to produce more of them. So he really, really wants air control in this map. He's actually going to come in here and just hunt for some Overlords. In the meantime, though, Corsairs... Come on, mouse. Corsairs cannot shoot down. I know it's often... we'll hold that thought as Archon is getting surrounded by a lot of Zerglings, but he is well reinforced. He's doing tons of damage, and actually the Archon does go down just by sheer brute force of Zerglings, but there's not enough left over after the lots of kills on the Zealots and Templar to be able to do any damage to this infrastructure warping in. These cannons are going to come in. He's actually just kind of wasted a lot of Zerglings just to kill that Archon. Obviously a very good exchange in terms of gas. Is it a very good exchange in terms of minerals or resources overall? Hard to say. In any case, but Jaedong, though, is getting a lot of bases up. He's got 4 bases going. He's getting another hatchery. He's going up to 7 hatcheries now. He's going to have a ton of production ability. Just absolutely ridiculous. And right now, he's kind of doing this Zerg thing where you just defend as much as you can in order to get a massive economy and get your tech up. And then you hope the Protoss doesn't kill you, or try to keep the Protoss from killing you. And luckily for him, a little bit, these Corsairs, again, like I was trying to say earlier, cannot shoot downwards. So... Jaedong's a little bit safe because a lot of the forces, Bisu's forces are stuck in these Corsairs. So imagine if this was a bunch of Dragoons, for example. He actually might be able to go in and like break one of these doors. Of course, if they were Dragoons, then Jaedong would be building something else. But point being, he can't really crack Jaedong right now. And so Jaedong's kind of a little bit content to sit back and get his tech going, get his economy going, etc. Just to try and build up so that he can get a massive, massive force later on. And we do see in the supply count that Jaedong is a little bit behind. But look at this. 54 of his 76 supply are workers. He's got a ton of workers, not very many units. But he's just kind of like waiting, and he's actually losing some Overlords, so he's going to be supply blocked in return. And got a lot of Scourge on the map. I'd be curious to see if he actually decides to... Well, look at this massive amount of upgrades and buildings going on. All kinds of stuff. I was looking to see if he's building any more air units, but he is not. He's in fact building Lurkers instead. Classic defense for the Zerg player in this kind of a situation. If you can get your wall of buildings, you can get your sunken colonies and your... I love the Spore Colony. I love the addition of the Spore Colony there. Means A, it's anti-Dyke Templar, but B, it actually means that he can keep any observers from hovering over that part of his base as well. And the Zerglings are running around here, and they're going to get caught. Oh no, the Zerglings get sandwiched between the Zealots, and only one survives. Actually, the other one getting picked by this cannon on the way out there, and it looks like it's not even going to survive either. It ran away to safety in order to sit there and wait for itself to be killed. And these Corsairs are built up enough that they can actually just hold position and kill off Scourge barely in time before they get to them. So this is actually huge. He's camping out his Corsairs over here. Meanwhile, a huge force bearing down on Jaedong's natural expansion. He has a Defiler out, but it looks like Consume is not upgraded yet. Is this going to be the end of Jaedong right here? We have a ton of units coming in, and actually the Lurkers morph in just in time. And there are no observers in the area for Bisu. Does he even have... He does have a robotics facility and an observatory. So he's just... It looks like it's just starting to build his first observer right now. Going back up here to the top as well. Again, kind of prodding the south, prodding the north. Trying to see if he can get any damage, and he just cannot crack it. He's going to go in and try and do some damage again, though. No, he's going to think better of it and fall back. Maybe he thought there was no lurkers, and now he's going to go in for another try, but the lurkers have reburrowed in a nice spot. We did see that High Templar have been produced, by the way, and Storm is about half complete. Once that Psy Storm finishes, it's a whole new ball game, whole different story for this game altogether, because the Storm obviously is going to be hugely successful against all these massive units. Jaedong won't be able to have just a clump of Zerglings running around doing random stuff, just being obnoxious. They won't be able to do too much damage. They definitely won't be able to surround an Archon and kill it. Storms are going to be too powerful against mass Zerglings. Is he going to force a cancel on this Nexus? No, he definitely is not. Just throwing away some Zerglings again. But, yeah, and I don't know if Jaedong can kind of really afford that right now. The one thing he does do is he draws a lot of forces back to defend this, and so that buys him a little bit more time that he can get the Consume upgrade finish, which it looks like it has completed. And he's starting to build more Defilers as well. And look at these Corsairs have done a lot of damage. He's up to 11 Corsairs now. There is nothing that can stop that in the air, basically, that Jaedong can throw at it, unless he goes, full-on Devourers or something like that. And these Defilers are now full of energy. They have eaten their fill, and they are ready to belch out the power of their lunch in the form of probably... Well, he's going to want to put Dark Swarms on the Defilers, but right now he's got a lot of Hydralisks. And so... I'm sorry, Defilers on the Dark Storm on the Lurkers. I don't remember if I said that correctly. And there's the Observer overhead. He needs to put down the Dark Swarm, though. He gets down a Plague, plagues his own Overlords in order to get all of the... And then he follows up with the Dark Swarm. Nice. So even though the Hydralisks are a little bit vulnerable, because the Zealots can get under there and attack them, and the Hydralisks can't do any damage, it's actually going to be really good because it looks like 3, maybe only 2. What am I hearing? What he did? I don't... What just happened there? He just killed his own building or something like that? That's kind of strange. In any case, Corsairs still running rampant, doing lots of damage. And it looks like I might have missed a Storm Drop. Apologies for that. It looks like there's... Actually, the Zealots are in there. So yes, it looks like a Storm Drop happened. I'm too busy being puzzled by the sound that I heard that I missed the Storm Drop. It's hard to keep your eyes on all parts of the map here, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for that. But a huge battle... Well, a skirmish, I should say. Not really a battle. Not really huge at all going on in the middle here. Bisu's going to have to pull his Corsairs back. He loses 1, and that's going to lower him back down to 10. So it looks like he's kind of stopped production of the Corsairs, but again, he just has to chill and hold on to those Corsairs, and he can maintain air superiority. 10 upgraded Corsairs. Sometimes you see the Zerg player will switch up and get a bunch of Scourge and Mutas and do a tech switch and try and take control of the air. But I don't think it's going to be possible. And here we go in. A huge battle is possibly going to occur, but Bisu thinks better of it. He knows he has the disadvantage. He's going to fall back here. He needs to fall back to these Psy Storms. But it looks like there is not enough energy on these Templar yet for a Storm. And they're actually just moving directly in. Is he going to lose a Templar for free because of a little bit of a careless move action? Everything's plagued, by the way, so everything's going to be very low on hit points. And Bisu is forced to fall back without the Storm. He's got 77 energy. He does get the Storm off. Nicely done, just as it barely gets enough energy. Another Plague goes down, but I believe all of these units, almost all these units are already plagued, so no, it looks like some of them were not. So he does do a lot of damage with that Plague. He needs to fall back to these Defilers, to the Lurkers. A Storm goes down, and he is going to fall back his 2 Hydralisks to those Lurkers. So it's going to be a little bit of a positional battle here in the middle. Lots of Observers. Looks like 3 Observers in play for Bisu. So he's going to be able to maintain vision here. He's making sure he doesn't get like his Observers sniped. Jaedong streaming lots of forces out from lots of different locations. You can see on the minimap here a sea of, well, at this point, just a stream of orange heading out to the middle. But this position where he had those few Lurkers, he's now reinforcing with tons of units. And it looks like there might be a huge battle here in the middle. There's a lot of High Templar. They're storming enormous. There's just giant pools of blood, Zergling blood. And he actually piles up his Lurkers in the same spot, allowing the Storms to do tons of damage as well. But it looks like he might just have enough. The Swarm goes down onto those Lurkers. There's only a couple Zealots left. Are they going to be able to do enough damage to those Lurkers underneath? It looks like no. The last Zealot is going to die, and so he's going to be forced to fall back. But there's only a couple Lurkers under there holding this position. So as soon as that Swarm goes away, this is actually not a good situation for Jaedong. It looks like we had a little bit of a skirmish over on this side as well while the main battle was going on. And Jaedong is just trying to macro like crazy right now. More Overlords being hunted, by the way. Just tons of... I might have to go back and see if I can find out like how many Overlords have died. I'm clicking on some of these Corsairs, and we're seeing 1, 3, 4 kills on several of them. So he's probably gotten 10 or 15. Well, some of those are Scourge kills, which were a little bit cheaper, but in any case, a little bit of a skirmish happening here as well. Basically, right now, Bisu has control of... He has the control of the battle. He's kind of in control. Oh, Scourge coming in, and they are going to get chased away. I think he's again going to try. He was going to try and kill off these observers. He may go for an attack on these Corsairs if they're distracted, but the Corsairs just have to clump up and just sit still, and they're going to kill any and all Scourge that come in after him. So, not sure what the purpose of these Scourge is, unless he's going to try and snipe observers. But we're seeing Bisu positioning to go try and go in on the 4th base. Basically, right now, Jaedong, he has just super solid defenses here in these 2 locations. And maybe that was the Nidus Canal that we saw die earlier in this spot. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm curious, but not too big of a deal. In any case, Corsairs going in. Oh, here comes the Scourge, and you can see he goes in and kills 1 Corsair, and that was just because the Corsairs were a little bit distracted attacking the Overlord. Lots more lurkers coming in to morph here. So Bisu has just kind of a better force, but this is the key tactic of Zerg in this situation. You can see he's actually lower on supply. He's been lower on supply, but Zerg are the scrappy race, and if you can put down a swarm with a couple defilers underneath it, you can defend against a superior army. So what's the answer to that? If you can't crack the Zerg egg, what do? You get a bigger frying pan, and you go ahead and you take the right side base and you take the north base. So Bisu is now at 5 bases, which is even with Jaedong. Jaedong has 5 bases as well, and one of the bases is getting harassed here as well. And while that's getting harassed, a huge battle coming in here in the middle, because Jaedong is not prepared for this. He gets a big plague on a lot of the Zealots, but there's just too much stuff here. Too much Protoss stuff. And Jaedong doesn't quite have the army to deal with it. This is a maxed Protoss army, ladies and gentlemen. And no, he piles up his lurkers in the same spot again. A storm takes a massive chunk out of several of the lurkers. And it looks like he's going to be forced to retreat, though. Maybe he's worried about all these injured and plagued. Sends in a suicide squad of Zerglings in order to kill off the High Templar. That was actually really, really clutch. Killing off those High Templar. And I think they were probably out of energy from that battle, but right now it looks like we've only got a couple of Templar here. And that means that he can't morph them into an Archon. For some reason, Bisu running his army back over here, even though there's no threat. It looks like this is another battlefield that's going on here. We've got a Templar up here and a few Zealots to kind of defend against that situation. You know what? Oh no, Defiler, run! Run, Defiler! Run! It's too late. Full energy Defiler killed by this Dark Templar. Anyways, it looks like there's a little bit of a fight now going on for control of the map. Both players trying to, and it's interesting that we haven't seen more actually going on up here. Like I wouldn't even be surprised to see him run in here and plague these cannons or something like that in anticipation of an attack. We do see the Corsairs have been plagued now as well, so they're low on hit points, but it doesn't really matter too much. It's down to 9 of them, but it's still a ton, and these Zerglings are just getting thrown away as well. Jaedong just must not like his Zerglings very much. He's thrown away at least 3 dozen of them during the course of this game. And here he goes in. He's going to try and kill off this top base. And he has managed to get a swarm down. He's killed off the Zealots in the area. So Hydralisks underneath the swarm are going to be able to do significant damage to these cannons. And he's going to go in with more. Yes, he is. And here comes the Defiler in. It's now fully charged with energy again. You can see Bisu's running his army in from the south, though, to try and reinforce miss. But there's swarms down, protecting from all this cannon fire. It's just Zealots versus Defilers, but not anymore. Now the High Templar are coming in to help out with this situation, but it doesn't actually matter. It looks like he just has enough melee units that he's able to take care of this. Looks like there's one Immortal Defiler, Lurker going on still underneath this, doing a lot of damage. For some reason, he hasn't stormed that. And getting really scrappy over on the side. Jaedong trying to send in more forces. He really needs to kill off that base or do something to limit Bisu's economy, because Bisu is staying even with him in bases just about, and he actually does get the Nexus. The Nexus goes down, and now the Storm goes down. He could have done that Storm on that Lurker, a long time ago, and instead he didn't. And what are these units doing down here, just kind of running away from this random Dark Templar? So Bisu actually loses this 5th base. He's going to immediately remake it. In the meantime, some lurkers have gone over here on the right side and are just taking some pot shots at this pylon. Pretty inconsequential, though. Bisu coming down here to clear out these units. It looks like maybe even thinking about taking that base. He does indeed put down a nexus there. Jaedong now has 1... Oh, that's not even mining, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4 mining bases. And they are not mining quite as much as Bisu's. But Bisu has 1, 2 bases mining. So actually at the moment, Jaedong has a significant economic advantage. And he's actually getting kind of close to maxed out as well. But it could be the end of that here if he comes in here. Now this base was not really mining except for this gas. The gas is actually kind of crucial given the amount of high-tech units that Jaedong is putting out here. But these storms are going to have something to say about that. He's going in to try and defend these lurkers with the other units. 3 storms go down, clearing out all the Hydralisks in sequence. Another storm down on the lurkers as well. He's piling up his lurkers underneath here, but he might be out of storms. It looks like one more storm is going to kill off a lot of Zerglings. Are there more reinforcements going to be enough? Bisu storming Zealots down here to reinforce at the same time, though. Jaedong needs to put those defilers underneath. Sorry, lurkers. I don't know why I keep saying the wrong name of these units. Underneath the swarm, they get stormed and polished off by the Zealots. So now the Zealots actually are protected by the Dark Swarm, and they're just trying to fight off the units underneath. Corsairs coming in here to fight things off as well, just might as well. Now they are injured, severely injured from the earlier plague, and so they actually are going down very quickly if the Hydralists target them. More Hydralists coming in. So many storms have gone off. He cannot have too much more storm energy, can he? It looks like we've got... yeah, no storms left. No storms left. And Jaedong coming in from the top as well to sandwich this army. It looks like he's going to kill off. There's a few Archons and Dragoons that are left. And Bisu cannot reinforce with anything. In fact, where is the rest of his army? He's got a bunch at this rally point, but he's actually decided, okay, I'm not going to kill off that army. I'm not going to win this engagement. I'm just going to let those units die, do as much damage as they can, and then regroup if I can. And these Corsairs are just slowly being picked off, actually. Looks like, oh, yeah, see, another one goes down. That plague actually was a huge deal. The 80 shields missing from those Corsairs means that they're, I'm sorry, 98 hit points missing from those Corsairs, I should say, leaves them at less than half hit points, so they're actually a little bit squishy when it comes to these battles. And Bisu's trying to take this other base. He hasn't gotten a mining yet, but Jaedong says no, that's not going to happen. Comes in here, kills off one of the pylons powering the cannon, and then polishes off the cannon itself. It looks like he might actually be mounting for another attack on the northern base as well. Bisu cannot let that happen. He needs to save these bases, because right now he's kind of just mining at these 2 bases. He's gotten this up mining as well. Okay, so 3 bases, but if he loses a couple in a row, Jaedong with several bases all over the map is going to have a huge, huge advantage. The swarms go down in the perfect position, but it looks like Bisu has the perfect units in order to defend this, though. He's got Dark Templars chilling underneath the swarm, actually protected from the Hydralisks killing them off by staying underneath there, and he actually doesn't have the lurkers to get underneath there. Even if he did, it'd be really difficult to polish them off. One more storm should kill off the rest of those Hydralisks, planting it slightly behind, a couple storms down, but it doesn't even matter. He's actually going to kill that off, and Jaedong was thinking about taking that base, and now he's not going to be able to. And so not killing off this base while preventing Jaedong from killing this base while losing this base down here. So he dedicates his forces to defending the 12 o'clock position and loses the 3:30 position as the result. So again, just looking at the economy right now, we got a nice juicy mining base down here at the bottom. We got a decent amount of drones here at this mineral only. Natural expansion still has a few minerals because he's probably transferred his drones around. Nothing here, nothing here. A little bit here. So we've got basically 1, 2, 3, 4 bases. We'll call it 3.5 because this is almost mined out. 3.5 bases mining for Jaedong. And we've got 1, 2, 3 bases mining for Bisu right now. So Bisu kind of in a good position right now where he's maxed out, but Jaedong is also maxed out. And oh, now see, we've seen that these Corsairs have slowly been whittled down to the point where they don't have the critical mass, and Bisu has officially lost air control. 1 Scourge each is all it takes to kill off those plagued Corsairs, and now the Scourge can fly freely in the skies, hunting for observers, and that's what he's going after. This Overlord is chasing that observer, and he's going to lose it, definitely. There it goes. 1 Scourge kills off an observer as well. Jaedong has a significant force down here. He's actually kind of holding this position. to make sure Bisu can't take it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he actually tries to take this himself. Look at this probe over here. It's just like chilling. He's like, I survived that battle. Nothing is going on as far as I can tell. I'm safe. That's a dumb probe. I don't know why that probe is thinking he's safe. But in any case, Jaedong is maxed as well. This is not a good situation for Protoss. It is, I guess, in the fact that he's at least got an even economy. He's kept the Zerg from getting too many bases. But the production of Jaedong is just ridiculous. And look at the bank. That is the crucial thing. He's going to try and snipe some of these High Templar, I think, or at least bait out a Storm. Does not work. 2 shuttles as well, by the way, filled with Reavers, I think. Yes, 2 Reavers, 2 Reavers. 4 Reavers in these shuttles can be huge because often they can run out of Storms. The High Templar can run out of Storms, but Reavers just keep making Scarabs, and they can just keep firing away. And in the late game, the Scarabs can be super, super deadly. They're also just a little bit easier as far as you don't have to really babysit them, you know? And is he actually going to get this? Oh, he picks off. That's what Jaedong's been trying to do, and not super successfully every time, is pick off the spellcasters with a few melee units, but instead we have Bisu doing that. And look at this. Bisu is just cutting the map in half. There's kind of an interesting line here on the minimap where Bisu's actually going to try to take this base. Take this mineral only. Oh, no! No! Defilers need to get out of there. Full energy Defiler getting a plague down, but then dying, and all of the Reavers are dropped out now. They're going to be able to do tons of damage, and of course they can do damage underneath those Dark Swarms, just dealing out massive amounts of damage. He's pushing in here. If Jaedong loses this base and this production facility center and this kind of rally point, this could be huge. We're seeing stuff dying on the bottom as well. It's oh no, he storms the output of the Nidus Count out on a ton of units, pop out his reinforcements and die immediately to the Storms and the Scarabs, and Bisu might have done it. Now he is farther behind on the supply because Jaedong has so much production, and he had a huge bank as well. So Jaedong is, let's even check right now, Jaedong is producing 20 Zerglings? That's it? That's only 20 Zerglings? Does he not have enough larvae? It's hard to tell because he should be producing more units today. He's got 3,000 minerals and 3,000 gas, only 150 supply. He just needs to be making more units right now. He could overpower this army that's been whittled down. Bisu's now down to 130 supply, only 80 army supply, and these Reavers have been abandoned. They don't have the reinforcements. Where are Bisu's reinforcements? They're trying to get over here, but they're going to be caught by the reinforcements of Jaedong. A couple really nice Storms just do tons of damage, but it's actually going to slow things down enough that the Reavers all die. Everything dead for Bisu, and we just saw Bisu's army count go from 150 to 100 in a matter of moments as he lost some reinforcements and lost those Reavers. A huge chunk of supply was taken up with those Reavers. Of course, Bisu does have a ton of gateways, yeah, I'll call that a ton. Ton of gateways, so he's actually in decent shape. And by the way, Bisu has managed to take this bottom right expansion somehow. Was it this probe? No, that probe's still there. Was not that probe's doing. He sent a whole other probe down there. But Jaedong has not managed to get anything else. He's trying to get this extra expansion over here, but it's very vulnerable at the moment. Bisu taking another base in the bottom right is going to be in good shape economically, because Jaedong still has 2,000 minerals. What is he producing? He's producing, okay, now he's producing a bunch of lurkers. He's a cancel. Oh, he doesn't even cancel it, actually. He just loses the hatchery. Not going to slow him down too much at this point. We can see Bisu is starting to make more Reavers and Archons, getting his upgrades going as well. I should double check those upgrades. Oh, and these Zealots are going to get caught, maybe surrounded by the Zerglings. And they are going to get surrounded by the Zerglings. The Lurkers need to burrow to finish them off. Actually, he's just going to beat them just with Zerglings. Just to check the upgrades real quick, we do have 3 upgrades for the Zerglings. And it looks like, well, we're going to find a Zealot here. Yeah, three weapons for the Zealots, but only 2 shields and 1 armor. So that's why we're seeing him get on those armor upgrades as well. Zergling's a little bit better, but I mean, I still favor the Zealots and heads up battle against Zerglings. But Zerglings with Dark Swarm against cannons, I'm favoring the Zerglings because this base is going to be dead. These are crack upgraded Zerglings as well, so they're doing so much damage. And Jaedong's trying to take this other base as well. Getting an extra hatchery as well, I think, is a really good idea. He's got a lot of money to spend. He's got a lot of gas to spend. Where did those lurkers go that he made? We saw him producing several lurkers. Okay, they are all over the map. He's got some here in his natural. Looks like he might be going in for an attack on this base again. It's down to 44 minerals, 300 minerals. Yeah, so only about 1,500 minerals left in this base. but still significant if he can take it out. And he's actually not going to go for that base, even though it's kind of easy pickings. Instead, he wants to come down here and defend this. Another shuttle has dropped off. More Reavers, and these Zealots are there to reinforce. The Reavers need to be careful. He's actually going to protect them in this shuttle as well. Going for the bottom middle base, and this is now turned where this is a situation where, well, it's not turned. It's Jaedong has kind of been playing defensive a lot. He's never really had an opportunity to go out and do any kind of major attack, and this is a crucial base for Jaedong right now. He really can't afford to lose this. This is one of his best bases in terms of the minerals there and a strategic position. It looks like he is going to lose it potentially. These Reavers have been plagued, but it doesn't really matter because they are in the back. They can shoot from afar, getting Scarabs down onto the Lurkers as well. And is he actually going to defend it? Looks like he is. Looks like he is. Maybe Scarabs go off killing the Hydras, but these Lurkers are still up and running, and it's going to force things back. He did lose some drones, and all the Hydras coming in from the back as well are going to pick off those Reavers, and there's the GG from Bisu, and that's what I was thinking of this was going to be a crucial battle, but I didn't realize how badly, let's actually go back can we go back for a second? I just want to see what the situation was for Bisu there. I didn't think he was in that dire of straits, actually, but it's possible that he had a lower army count than I really saw. So let's see. We're just let's skip forward a little bit here, and we can pause the game and just look at the situation. So Bisu does have a couple base. No, he loses this, and let's just speed up a little bit. Just kind of curious what that ending situation was. Why we saw the GG. So we're seeing him kill off that base, and then maybe, so Bisu at this point has a much lower army supply, and Jaedong is maxed. Jaedong has a bank, and I think this is why actually Bisu has had his mining delay a little bit here and there, but crucially he's run out of his natural, and he's lost this base, and he's lost this base. So he's actually not mining very much at all. Oh, and actually the bottom minerals are mined out here. So he's got 4 patches and like 8, soon to be like 10 patches mining. Okay, so I guess his economy was hurting more than I thought it was, basically. So and Jaedong with a maxed out army just has so much production that he can just kind of keep maxing out with the bank that he had built up. And it looked really bad for Jaedong a couple times there because you know, Bisu, it looked like he was going to break in here, and if he broke in here and he did some beautiful storms killing so many units, just absolutely disgusting slaughters of units on this side here. If he'd broken in here and killed this off, killed this production area, right, and which would also enable to come up here and kill this base as well, then suddenly Jaedong only has like 1, 2, 3 bases mining, and with Bisu at that point in time, Bisu had 3 bases mining, and Bisu was had a little bit of an army supply, so he would have been in a really solid position, but he didn't break this. He didn't break this, and the follow-up was what really killed him when we saw those. Let's see if I can just magically go back, guess the right period in time, and get back to the right spot on this replay. You can't go in reverse. You can only skip back to a moment. So I didn't get to the right time, but that's okay. But in any case, the battle that happened right here where he had those Reavers, it looked like he was in good shape. He didn't break him, though. The reinforcements got caught here and didn't get to reinforce and protect the Reavers. Imagine if those reinforcements had maybe come up here and around and protected those Reavers somehow, and they gotten some more Scarab shots off. He might have been able to keep them. The shuttles died as well, of course, so that was a big deal. If the shuttles had survived, he could have picked them up and flown the Reavers back. But 4 Reavers short in the later battles after that were just too much of an uphill climb, and so Bisu was not able to win it out eventually. Wow, what an epic game, though! Super, super cool. Love watching these high-level players play. Bisu versus Jaedong. Can you imagine better matchup to watch? It's very difficult to think about. I mean, there's a couple matchups there on the same tier. You know, I would love to watch a Stork versus Jaedong or a Fantasy versus Jangbi or something like that. You know, but point being, these are like 2 of the highest level players ever to play the game in the history of, possibly 2 of the highest level players in esports history ever of any game, if you think about it, facing off against each other. So such a treat to be able to watch them play. And hope you guys enjoyed the pixels that I was able to bring you today. We're going to get back to the lack of pixels with the eye cancer VODs with Group C pretty soon, though. So hope you guys are looking forward to that. I've been enjoying it, even though the pixels are lacking and the meta is different and old. I'm still enjoying watching the old greats, and the next group is going to be some killer games. So hope you are looking forward to that as well. Anyway, and that's going to do it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching.